I thought staying at a budget hotel in Sacramento would save me money on my work trip. Instead, I learned that some places have guests who never actually check out, and the staff pretends not to notice. Look, I travel for work maybe 4 times a year. Nothing crazy. Just sales conferences and the occasional training thing. This happened last March when my company sent me to Sacramento for a 3-day convention. I booked the Riverside Inn because it was cheap and close to the venue. Should have read the reviews more carefully. I got there around 9 at night. It was pouring rain, the kind that makes your windshield wipers basically useless. The hotel sign was flickering, half the letters burned out. Inside, the lobby smelled like burnt coffee mixed with that fake lemon cleaner. You know the smell. Behind the desk was this tired-looking woman scrolling through her phone. That's when I noticed him. There was an older guy sitting on the couch across from the elevators, maybe 60, 70 years old. He had this long tan coat buttoned all the way up, even though the lobby was warm. What got me was how he just stared at the elevator doors, not at his phone, not at the TV mounted in the corner, just the elevator, like he was waiting for someone specific to walk out. I figured he was waiting for his wife or something. Checked in, got my key card, went upstairs. Room 314. It was fine. Bed, TV, bathroom. The carpet had that pattern that all hotel carpets have. I unpacked, brushed my teeth, and crashed because I had an early morning. Around 11, there was a knock on my door. "Housekeeping," someone said. I remember thinking that was weird because housekeeping doesn't come at 11 p.m., but the voice sounded familiar somehow, which made it worse. I looked through the peephole and my stomach dropped. It was the old man from the lobby. I opened the door just a crack with the chain still on. He smiled at me, this really wide smile that didn't match his eyes. "Just checking around," he said. The lobby door jammed earlier, and I wanted to make sure all the floor doors were working properly. "I didn't call anyone," I said. "Oh, I know," he replied, "just being thorough." He stood there for another few seconds, still smiling, then walked down the hallway toward the stairwell. I locked the door and pushed the desk chair against it. Barely slept that night. Next morning at breakfast, he was there, sitting in the corner with a cup of coffee watching me. When I sat down with my food, he was already looking at me like he knew exactly when I'd walk in. I tried to ignore it, ate fast, and left. That afternoon, I came back from the conference and noticed my phone charger had been moved. I always leave it plugged in by the bed. Now it was in the bathroom, coiled up next to the sink. I called the front desk and asked if housekeeping had been in my room. "Let me check," the woman said. Long pause. "No, it shows your room was skipped today because of the do not disturb sign. I never put out a do not disturb sign." That evening I saw him again in the stairwell between the 3rd and 4th floor, just standing there, not going up or down. When I walked past him, he said, "Good evening, Marlowe. That's my last name. It's on my credit card, sure, but how the hell did he know it?" I went straight to the front desk and told them everything. The night manager, some young guy named Brandon, looked uncomfortable. "Oh, that's just Gerald," he said. "He's a regular. Been coming here for years. Harmless guy. Likes to people watch." "He knocked on my door at 11 p.m., I said. Brandon apologized and offered to move me to another room. I said yes immediately. He gave me a key to room 228. That night I moved all my stuff and put a chair against the door again. I also looked up the hotel's reviews on my phone. 3 separate people mentioned a weird old man who watches guests. One review from 2 years ago said, "Management does nothing about him." On my last night, I couldn't shake this feeling. It wasn't about one specific thing he did. It was the pattern. He knew when breakfast started. He knew which floors would be empty at certain times. He moved through the hotel like he'd memorized every camera blind spot, every housekeeping rotation. I checked out early the next morning. Asked for the CCTV footage from the lobby. Brandon showed me a clip. There was Gerald on the couch for hours, just sitting. Nobody from staff ever approached him. Other guests walked by him like he was a lamp. "Doesn't anyone ask him to leave?" I said. Brandon shrugged. "He's not doing anything illegal. Technically." I left Sacramento that afternoon and reported the hotel to corporate. Never heard back. Sometimes I wonder if Gerald's still there, sitting on that couch, waiting for the next person to notice him. And I wonder how many people checked in and never realized he was watching them the whole damn time. I still think about that weekend in Chicago and the hotel that smelled like lemon cleaner. The little things stacked up so slow I laughed at myself until my 4-year-old pointed and said something that froze me. "My name is Rowan. I was with my wife Tara and our little boy Milo. We drove from Indianapolis for a cheap weekend at a chain hotel by the river. Milo fell asleep in the car and woke up cranky. We wanted safe, easy, quiet. The first room had small weirds. The pillows smelled like floral spray. There was a toothbrush in the cup that was not ours. A framed photo hung crooked. Tara called the desk. Housekeeping said sorry and moved us down the hall. The new room felt fine. Milo has a tiny routine with his bear. He lines his toys like soldiers. I set them how he wanted. Later, when he woke, he pointed at the suitcase and said, "They put my toy the way I do." I thought he was sleepy. I moved the bear back. Next morning, the toys were arranged the same, precise. I asked to see the housekeeping log at the desk. The woman printed something slowly. There were swipes at odd hours marked unassigned. The manager, Peter, said, "The system shows odd codes sometimes." He gave us a voucher and said, "We rotate rooms 4 flow." A neighbor in the hall said she often saw a man in a janitor vest walking late. He was quiet and not on any schedule, she said. I thanked her. That night the hall boards creaked when I walked. I told myself not to be paranoid. Small private things kept moving. A crayon ended up in the lampshade. A damp towel was draped over the headboard, though we had not used it. Milo's small blue sock was on the bathroom sink. No locks broken, no shouting, just things placed where someone else thought they should be. I forgot my wallet in the car and went back out. The lot felt empty and the lights buzzed. The door to the lobby gave a little squeak that I remember now. I came back and tried to laugh. Tara said she did not like it. She kept checking the deadbolt. On our last morning, I pulled a loose frame by the window to find a paper tucked behind the cardboard. It was a child's drawing in crayon. 3 stick people on a bed, Milo's bear drawn perfect. In the corner, there was a small dark shape with 2 eyes looking. The room in the sketch had my missing left shoe on the floor. Whoever drew it noticed small private things. I took a photo and showed Peter. He looked uneasy for a second and then smiled too quick. Corporate sent a form letter and a small voucher. The badge logs they emailed had parts redacted where the odd swipes were. The police said without proof they could not do much. The janitor on the schedule had no record of odd hours. We left early. Peter kept saying, "We care," and patted my arm once. The neighbor offered to show a security tape but said the hotel only shares with police. When the police checked the cameras, they found gaps. It felt small and useless, like polite windows closing. I felt naive and angry. I could not stop thinking about that little dark figure watching us. I cursed once into my pillow that night, "Motherfucker," and the word sounded stupid, but it made me feel a little fierce. On the drive home, Milo slept with his bear and held it so tight his fingers hurt. He slept like a tired kid who had been scared. I keep thinking about that drawing. It was not dramatic. It did not show a face or a knife. It showed someone who watched small things and copied them. It felt like a careful kind of violation. You expect theft to be loud, but this was soft, gentle, domestic. Afterward, I checked frames in hotels. I lock the deadbolt. I tell cleaning to wait until we leave. I tell myself I am careful now. Friends say maybe it was a bored employee or a prank. Maybe. But the unassigned swipes, the neighbor's vest, the damp towel, the crayon in the lamp, those make a pattern. What bothers me most is how normal it felt when it happened. A person could sit in our room with a badge or a key and make choices that look like housekeeping. They can learn tiny habits. Milo's routine is the most private thing, and someone learned it and copied it like a small joke. It was not a joke. I still lie awake sometimes and remember the squeak of the lobby door and the hum of the lot lights. I remember the way Milo lined his toys, the exact way. When he lines them now, he does it slow, like he is making a map. I watch him and I feel watched back, small and steady through the walls.